When someone asks you how your day was, do you ever feel like you don't entirely know how to respond? Or maybe you respond with good or great because that's just your default answer, right? And you know deep down inside that maybe you didn't have the best day, but it's also a lot to unpack and also unwind as to why. Lately, I've been feeling like that, and it's kind of caused me to take more self reflection and introspection into why I feel like some of the days here lately, at least for me, haven't been the most fulfilling. And I want to have more good days and I want to have better days. And I think that's totally possible. So I'd love to kind of unpack that here in this video and talk about the anatomy of a good day and how to have better days and how to make our days a little bit more bright. So, to kick things off, let's talk about what it means to have a quote unquote good day. Obviously, good days mean different things to different people. You might have different standards and different bars in your life of what qualifies as a good day. But for me, in this video, let's just say that it means that at the end of the day, you feel satisfied and fulfilled and happy, like your cup is full. And despite all of us having different standards or baselines of what a good day is in our books, I've discovered that through this process, a good day is typically made up of one or more of the following things. The first one is meaningful work, making progress in an area that we truly care about. The second one is connection, spending time with those that we love and care about. Third is being present in the moment, making sure that you have moments of presence throughout your day. And the fourth is acts of self-love and care. So let's dive into it. So let's talk about what is meaningful work. We need to really understand that first before we start to dive in a little bit further. So meaningful work means doing work that is directly aligned to your values or passions. And I wanted to break down what values and passions are because I feel like that gets easily mixed up, at least for me. So values are beliefs and principles that guide your decisions and actions. And passions are things that deeply excite, motivate, and engage you. And sometimes these things, or very often so, overlap with one another. And I refer to this as optimized meaningful work. And that's the sweet spot of things because you're able to essentially kill two birds with one stone. To make it a little bit easier, I also wanted to provide some examples of how to think about what meaningful work might mean to you. So I would highly suggest doing something like a meaningful work little table here where you have your values listed out, your passions, and then also think about some examples of what meaningful work is to you. So the first one, for example, is compassion. The passion is animal welfare. I love dogs and I love taking care of animals. In the third column here, you can see it might mean that you volunteer at a shelter. Maybe you want to foster some pets as a quick example. Another example might be growth and learning and being super passionate about personal development. So that could be, making time to read, journal, listen to podcasts, or taking a course online. I actually took a couple of free courses online a few weeks ago, and I felt so happy and fulfilled after completing them. I felt like I was proud of myself for taking the time to learn something new and grow my mind and expand it while I'm not actually forced to learn when we're in school and learning subjects that we're not really passionate about. So that made me feel good and I was really happy about that. And the more that you put into growing yourself, the more you can help others, which I think is super important. And another important thing to highlight here is that if you're finding that you don't have a lot of time or energy to put towards meaningful work, maybe you do it once a week, for example, and start there. Or you think about how do you habit stack and optimize. So for example, if you really value your health and wellness and movement and nutrition. Maybe when you're meal prepping or going to a workout class or going for a hike, you combine that with listening to a podcast and personal development, or maybe you call a friend and that brings in connection and health and vitality. So there are a lot of different ways where you can kind of combine these and optimize for your time and energy if you're feeling like those are the reasons why you don't have time for meaningful work. And what I'm trying to say is that I don't necessarily need to quit my job and just go like foster dogs and become a full-time like dog volunteer because that's one of my values and my passions, or become like a Pilates instructor because I like working out, just as an example. But it's like, how do we make a well-balanced life that is complementary? So then that way we're not leaning more towards one area or the other, and that we're really centering our lives around things that truly bring us that joy in our day-to-day lives. All right, the second one is making time for connection. So, connection refers to the experience of feeling close, understood, and valued by others, as well as being connected to yourself, your purpose, and the wider world. Studies show that just 30 minutes of quality social interaction can significantly improve our mood, and we are meant to be social creatures. So, having dedicated time out of your day to call a friend, maybe leave voice notes if you can't dedicate time for a full call, or connecting with, I don't know, maybe your parents, for example, that might fill your cup as well. And it's extremely important to do with people that you care about and you like, and you can get a little bit deeper and understand them and know them really well. I think that having deeper connections is also very important versus just surface level connections like you might have with a coworker in the first minute or two of your awkward conversations that you kick calls off with. So, yeah, making time to connect is obviously a very important aspect of having a good day too. Self-care could also be just making sure that you have some boundaries that you're setting in between your work life and your personal life, or maybe it's reframing negative thoughts that you keep mentioning to yourself or you talk down to yourself on. So it doesn't have to be anything huge, but acts of self-love and self-care also have a major impact to having a good/better day. And to wrap things up here, I want to emphasize that you don't need all of these things to have a good day, but these are some ideas of things that might impact you to have a better or good day that I hope you take inspiration from. I definitely learned a lot from this reflective kind of exercise and going through it and thinking about how I currently live and how I could redesign or upgrade my days to feel a little bit happier, a little bit more content and satisfied and fulfilled. And it's nice to know that there is a path forward, and I just wasn't taking time to reflect and make changes that are necessary. And if this resonated with you at all, it would mean so much if you let me know in a comment or two or by liking this video. I'm really hoping to connect with people that find value in these videos and thinking through things and kind of going through life's journey together. So that would make me very happy, because I have no idea if this is making an impact if I do not hear from anyone out there. And until next time, I hope you are able to take some things away from this video that make your days better and brighter, and some ideas that inspire you to change your life or redesign it in a way that brings you more joy. And I'll see you next time.